Okay, so we're looking at a lower level answer, a level 2 answer for the question that you've just been practicing putting together, comparing the account of Glastonbury Festival rather to the account of Greenwich Fair. So what we're looking at here at the lower levels is we're looking at interpretation at level 2. So awareness is at level 1. So people basically giving an awareness of the text, that they've read the text. They paraphrase rather than infer, they make simple references, and they may show a simple difference between the text. Level 2, we're looking at more interpretation from the text. So some interpretation, so some inferences from one or both texts, appropriate textual references in places, and some differences between the texts. At this level, level 2, I'm not going to be expecting to see, and the examiner will not be expecting to see, really detailed, insightful comments, really. It's very basic stuff, like, for example, at Greenwich Fair, there are lots of stalls, gaily lighted up, selling toys and things to eat. So here the student is using textual detail, whereas there are lots of well-known bands playing at Glastonbury. So here the student is showing some differences, and they're making a very simple inference, suggesting that Glastonbury is more about music. That's a very simple reading of the piece. At level 3, you're going to expect to see more detail, so clear inferences from both texts, clear references and textual details relevant to the question, and clear differences between the texts. So you'd expect to see things about, well, they're talking about the music here. They're giving textual references, aren't they, with the references to the bands that you can see. And they're making a more detailed, more subtle comparison. So they're saying, at Greenwich Fair there are also bands playing, but the main attraction is the stall selling toys and foods, such as selling real spice nuts. So that's a bit more of a detailed comparison, because it's not just as simple as saying, well, you know, Glastonbury's about music, Greenwich Fair isn't. They're saying, well, there is music at Greenwich Fair, but the biggest attraction really here is the stall selling things, whereas at Glastonbury it's all about the music. It's a bit more detailed, a bit more nuanced. At level 4, you expect to see a lot more. Perceptive synthesis is what they say here, and interpretation of both texts. So, for example, that is a lot more perceptive. They've said there are similar things to see and do at the places, but they happen in very different ways. Music, for example. There are bands at Greenwich, each with 3 drums playing different tunes at the same time, so it sounds like a disorganised chaos and just a cacophony added into the confusion. So they're talking about music here as a key factor. They found a unifying factor between the two, but now they're explaining why it's different. At Glastonbury we get a different idea of the bands, including Elvis Costello, so it seems more organised. So they're drawing out key differences here, that Glastonbury seems more organised in its music, with spectators actually watching. More refined atmosphere. So let's have a look at our lower level questions, see what they're doing here. So, they've got a statement here that the examiner's underlined. Glastonbury is a music festival with amazing acts. So they're drawing here as well, they've got the textual reference in which you want to see. It's a very light-hearted festival, so you've got a nice inference there. Yeah, it's a fair inference, I'd say. Despite the weather, most years people make their way to Glastonbury from all over the United Kingdom. Yeah, okay, fair enough. We can buy that. It's not a particularly detailed inference, but it's one we can work with. Greenwich Fair, on the other hand, is a very different attraction. So you've got instantly there, you've got a statement of difference with a very different atmosphere. This is a fair of old with people travelling by omnibus, so you've got textual detail drawn out here. But is it really... You see, I'm not sure they're focused on the right thing here, how people get there. I don't think that's so important, really. I mean, yes, it underlines the fact they occur in different periods of time, but I can see why they've not got a great mark for focusing so much on that. Music isn't the focus of this fair, so you've got a nice attempt of inference here. It could be backed up a little better, though. Although it's full of many shanties and songs played by fairgoers, so you've got textual detail. And statement of difference here as well. Greenwich, although it has the same atmosphere, it is a festival in which people get together and have fun doing many things. But they haven't really explained how it's different. They've not backed that up with textual detail. And that is what the examiners picked up on. There is little textual detail. Inference attempted on both text, but there is little textual detail to back it up.